When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ludlow, and enjoy today's episode.
Yep. You got to keep it and
the long-term contracts.
Right. Get the long-term contracts to budget and make sure you choose the right people for your financial advice. A lot of people get stuff mixed up when they talk to their CPAs. They call their CPA and they say, "Hey, how do I do this? And how to do this? And why is this person getting these rebates and I'm not?" So, my advice to that is, you don't talk to your CPA because they can use that. And if there was ever a dispute or something between you and your CPA, they could say, "Hey, this guy was trying to figure out how to beat the system. No, I was trying to figure out the tax law, so I know how I get the same benefits that my neighbor's getting." Well, your neighbor's going to a tax attorney. So, no difference between a CPA and a tax attorney. I had to learn that one. Get some good financial advisory in your corner, no matter if it's a financial advisor or a business. We have some people here that help people in small businesses and give them really good advice. But learn the ways and the umbrellas and shelters that the government's created so that you can live within them and more means, because what you'll find is the expenses of a business become a little bit ridiculous. So the taxes and the insurance and the business privilege taxes and the corporation taxes and the registered agents and it's a lot too. There's a lot of you usually start off pretty negative every month before you even start working. So it costs a lot to turn the lights on.
You turn negative every month. That's a scary thought, but it's so true.
You start negative every month.
Yeah, one thing I've learned for myself, I hired when I started going serious on building my little company out here. I brought in a director of finance, and through a mutual friend, his dad was looking for something else to do. He retired from Goodwill. Hey, my dad might be interested in helping you. He was a former CFO Goodwill. I'm like, holy crap! But wow. I got lucky. He was CFO Goodwill Industries, 30 locations, I think, and ran a multi-million-dollar business. And now he's running my books. And I'm like, there's so many things. Being a bodyguard, EP agent, military guy, I don't know finances. I have no clue.
That's another weakness for me as well.
Yeah. I'm not good at numbers. I'm not good at Google Sheets. And my team, Michelle and Mark Beeson, they're on Google Sheets every day, and they're doing these formulas and graphs and stuff in Google. I'm like, I don't get it. It's just, okay. This
just do the concatenate function. Do that concatenate function. Like, good thing is I'm on the computer side of it. But yes, that's exactly the tax. That taxes. I mean, not taxes, but just simply savings. Overall savings. Make sure be frugal. Obviously, any business you got to be frugal. Any small business, if you're a real small business, you're going to be frugal. And if you don't know how to do it, it will teach you all the same.
It will.
So it will. But no, it's that would be the three major things. I think branding is a huge deal. I didn't have a lot of wherewithal about that one, so I figured that out the hard way. Everything I figured out in this business has pretty much been the hard way, but what I haven't figured out the hard way is that I chose this is what I was supposed to do. This is what it was meant to do. At 40, I figured out what I want to be when I grow up. And this is, hiring veterans is, and the reason why, just real quick, people need to know these numbers. Education is everything. Intelligence is not the acquisition of knowledge, it's the retention of it. It's being able to, if I tell you something, you don't remember it, then you didn't become any more intelligent. So these numbers are important. I don't know what the exact number is, but you can go Google these as well. But I saw it on a documentary. And when I started hiring vets, I just watched this movie and this documentary and I saw these numbers. I'm like, man, that is ridiculous. So in the years the Pentagon rated the war, Afghan war, 2000, 1 to 2014, there was 1,800, and I'm not sure the second to number, the tenths, but is veterans that was killed overseas. And I should know that. We all should know that, but we don't. But what we don't know, and what I didn't know, and it's just absolutely ridiculous, is during that same period, we personally killed over 2,100 of our officers in that same time right here in the United States. Every time you go out of a Fort Operating Base, you go outside the wire. Well, every time an officer leaves his car for a traffic stop, he goes outside the wire. It's my grandfather was a sheriff. He was a constable, and we have a lot of military in my family, and it's just it's pretty much now a joint effort first responders. I mean, we hired, we got Department of Corrections, we've got Homeland Security, we've got sheriffs, we've got PD, we have Marine, we have every branch of the military. I mean, we've got Coast Guard, we've got I love it, and he'll hit me in the arm for saying it, but we have everything from a Marine veteran that was overseas 6 deployments to a police officer that was in New York, and it was a sergeant, a retired sergeant when the towers fell. So it's full circle, and it's I don't know, it's just all neat how it works out, ain't it? So
it is. What would you say makes Severance so unique compared to all those other big conglomerate companies? What makes you different?
Well, it might be that. It might, I don't think we are better than anybody else. I don't think that, I think that we are. I mean, I've seen the best run. I've seen Bob Dugan in their training over there, and actually Chris Story's over there helping with that, helping with them, doing the actual training, which is just, Bob Dugan's the godfather. You got Chris Story in the same place, Meb West. Come on, these are heroes, man. These are people that, if you grow up knowing, doing this stuff, is these are names, and I don't know. I think being the smaller company, the biggest thing is the quality. I think not ours to somebody else's, ours to being the size that we are, because we can still put fingers on our pulse, and we haven't outgrown ourselves yet. And we only take so many contracts. We only take allow so many at time before we hire, because when we hire, they go through a training process. You can get a security license to Alabama in 8 hours. You get an armed security license in 40, in 2 days. We go through. We throw in de-escalation tactics, how to talk to the customers, we're starting our own EP courses to help just make us better. We got a lot of our guys go to offsite EP courses that are awesome with Sorsa. Joe Sorsa's. We got guys that went to his academy, Icon with Elijah, but ESI. We got a good buddy of mine just got back from ESI after I think it was 17 or 27 day stint. I mean, we're going to start something like that here for Severance, just so we can start getting we need to get some more training to more individuals, and it will help veterans climb the ladder in the EP faster to get that available to them. So, it was
What's your advice as far as, because I know training is a big pop button for a lot of people in the EP industry. What would you say would be the most important to focus on in training? Would you say shooting, driving, medical, corporate culture? What would you say would be the most important topic to discuss for the EP agents coming in the industry for their survival?
Customer service.
Bingo. Soft skill.
Customer service. It's always going to be customer service. Customer's always right, and the customer, if the bigger you are, the more they pay for you, and it's true in any, from fashion to cars, and that is commerce. But customer service is the top. I think EP training. A lot of people think because you're a veteran or you're law enforcement or you're simply held a guard card for 15 years, EP, and EP is I'm glad. That's why I'm so glad about the education, IPSB and GSX and these other conferences. The EP is not. It's art within itself. Driving is huge. When is the problem going to happen? Mostly, the probability says between egress and ingress. When they're in the vehicle. Tactical drivers are must. Tactical driving schools are. We had one of our guys went to the tactical driving school in South Florida. It was just raved about it. But EP, it's to survive. You first got to perfect customer service. You can't meet strangers. You got to be able to read your clients and see what they need and once you don't need to learn a lot of lessons twice. And you need to really kind of be able to forecast based on the things you've already seen them do on what they're going to do next. And that really gives them relief, and that gives them security alone. First, you need to have the brand name so they called you, though. That's the hardest thing. So,
branding is huge.
Branding is so big.
It is. I didn't realize how big it was until I started seeing Bailey's stuff on you guys. Like, whoa, wow. Yeah. And every day, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, okay. And then that's what I started realizing. I got to change my game. I wasn't doing it right. But you think that, the big dogs in the industry, the different logos, I'm not going to name that everybody can guess who I'm talking about. They're always on LinkedIn, because AS Solutions was, they were big. And I remember having a conversation with a certain person that was in leadership with AS Solutions. And they mentioned that another competitor said, hey, I've been watching your stuff and I love your stuff. And it was a competitor.
Yeah.
And they're watching AS Solutions and watching how Christian West was leading the ship over there at AS. And then all of a sudden, when Christian sold out twice, the guy knows business because he sold his company twice. I'm like, that's pretty impressive.
You know about that.
And then the competitor, I started seeing them just heading, they basically copied what AS Solutions already done for 5-6 years. And then once, AS got bought out a couple times, then I saw this other firm, not going to mention names. I don't want to get sued or anything. But they just started blowing up. And then I see your guys start doing the same thing this other company was doing, like, holy crap. But it was branding, all about branding and name recognition. And I would agree with Tim on that. If they don't know you, they're not going to call you.
Yeah.
Or if they don't trust you, they're not going to give you business.
That's right. And it's a consistent thing. And in this business, it is, you're not coming into the security realm thinking you get pats on the back. It is, what have you done for me lately? And,
exactly.
There are some companies that help, and there are some companies that don't help. And there are some companies that are greedy, and there's some companies that aren't greedy. It's all a fine balance, and you got to find out who you can work with and who you can trust or you can't trust. It's I've had a great fortunate. I've been very blessed, and I've met. I feel like I've met all the good people. So, we hadn't had many issues. So it's can't say, but ultimately there's enough money for everybody, and that's what people don't understand. It's not a competition; it's a coopetition. We can cooperatively compete. But there's enough money for everybody. It's not the end of the world. And there's 40 other ways to go with it. And there's always something that you're doing. You can find a way to do it better, and you can change that. So
I think it's a $45 billion industry in the U.S. alone.
It is, yeah,
something like that. It's huge.
And we got some.
Let's tap into. Now, do you like being a politician? You're in city council now and all that. What's that like for you?
No, I'm on the board of adjustments. There's nothing Tony asked me to do, and I say he's my good friend, and he asked me to be on board of adjustments, and that's the most unpopular place in the world to be, by the way.
Is it?
Yes. That's when somebody needs a variance because the land. You have to create a proof of a burden based on the land and not financial burden. And that's a hard one. It's a hard one. You can't put a building there. It's too close to the, we say no a lot. And I was like, man, this is the most unpopular seat, but no, I love it. It's just nice to be a part of it and in the community and everything. I've been here in Orange Beach for 22 years and I always worked abroad and worked in the IT field and at Brett Robinson and not really, knew people, but nobody really knew me. And then the last 4 years, I've had to get out and meet people to grow the company. So now it's the skeet shooting coach. I'm a high school skeet shooting coach and on the board of adjustments for city council. So it's I guess I'm very honored, but it causes a lot of anxiety.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you find out when people see you success? Well, they perceive what is success in your business as you grow. They call on you to do stuff with them too. They want you to be part of their success.
Right.
Have you noticed that?
I do. That's always a great thing when people, when other companies or other when anybody recognizes that you're doing something that's a little bit bigger than yourself. And, it's not about who gets the credit. It's about if you start worrying about where the credit lies, you're going to lose track of the whole focus. So I think it's great that they recognize and they do want to work with other people. We used to work for other companies, and now we're primed for lots of large vendors.
Wow.
The way you get there is not by taking their customers. You work with them and you work with their customers, and then somebody hears about you and they call you. People think that, how everybody gets there by they work for a customer, and then I go and I take that customer from them, and that it never works out well that way.
It doesn't go well.
What you do is you go do a good job for a customer, and you represent the vendor or the prime that you're representing, and you keep your name to yourself, and you continue to do that, and you will get your own recognition. And they, you continue to brand, and they will start calling you not because they don't love the other companies, just because sometimes they want to try something different. And sometimes that company don't have an office in Pensacola, Florida, or in Thomasville, Georgia, or they don't have somebody close to Decatur. So then when they do, they call us, and we have some different offices. We have Miami and West Palm, and I think we cover Naples, Fort Lauderdale area, both sides. We're looking at Fort Myer. We just stood up Severance, Pennsylvania. They're going to cover from DC to Philadelphia. They've already got some big things on the schedule. They're already growing, and we're listening to something that we hadn't announced yet, but it's coming. So we might as well do it on your podcast, because nobody, I don't even think you don't even know about it. So
I know
we had an opportunity that recently. I had a good friend who was just an old friend. He was a foreign military gentleman that's been really good to me for a long time, and we've had a good relationship for a long period of time. And we're going to start a Severance Belize, and we already have an arming agreement, so we'll be able to run armed operators there. We already have an office. We have 3 offices that he currently uses that we're going to be inhabited with him. And he's going to come in with us. He's going to run Severance Belize. So,
wow, that's a foreign country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, congrats.
Severance International on Ludlow.
Nice. How about those gold nuggets there, folks listening to the audience? Tim, Harry, and Severance are now international in Belize. They're in Pennsylvania. They're in Alabama. They're in Florida. And, of course, I call them when I need something covered over there anyway, because I just trust them. But, folks, let's pay attention to this. He gave you guys some gold nuggets a few minutes before. I don't know if you're paying attention. If you weren't, this is kind of how it went down. Tim mentioned that, hey, you take care of the client. Always take care of the client. You don't focus about stealing the client. Why? Because you're always being watched. You're always being watched in this business. Why are they watching you? That potential client that you don't know about is watching you to see if they can trust you. Trust is a multi-million-dollar process in this industry, as Tim knows. And like he said, that client, hey, we liked how you took care of us. You didn't go around us. And hey, I just referred you to XYZ Corporation. Here's a multi-million-dollar contract.
That's right.
You had that
believe it or not, successful people hang out with successful people. Stars hang out with other stars.
Yep.
Board presidents of HOAs and POAs, they talk to each other. So
they do.
Do the right thing, and the right thing will return. You reap what you sow, and that's just the best business lesson. The 2 best things I've ever learned was you dance with the one who brought you here. That's just simply means loyalty. And you get what you give. What you put out there, you're gonna get back. And if it's good, Severance. We've all done good together. It's been a very long road, and we're still rolling. I mean, we're still a small company. We're still. Any company, I don't care, small, medium, or large, every company survives weekly and monthly and daily. So, it's we have a great responsibility by being an armed security company, but it also is a true security company. So,
what is your forecast? What are you hearing on the East Coast? Because I'm hearing that it's kind of slowing down a little bit as far as security services needs are going. Like our clientele has slowed down quite a bit for August, but we're hearing that people are adjusting budgets, and the whole industry is kind of hemorrhaging because they're trying to figure out what's going to happen in the midterm. What are you seeing and experiencing out there?
I think two facets. So my big deal is obviously the IT side, but it's also data. I collect lots of data, and I like sitting down and analyzing things and just seeing what works, what don't. I'm a numbers guy. I can put a lot of weeks of budgetary needs together based on what I have for the last 4 years. I can see the increase in the growth based on the measurement of the last 4 months. Project some growth for the next 3 maybe. But what I think is what I've seen every year is this time of the year right now, kids are going back to school. People are stopping to travel a little bit. They're stopping their travel. But the main deal I see was after COVID, there was lots of protection needs and fear of going traveling, or just simply lots of larger jobs started. Like we went into banks for the first time.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Just to start checking people when they come in, they had to make appointments during COVID time. There lots of new people started using our services, and I think that's now kind of relaxing. I don't have the numbers to justify that, but that's just what my personal opinion is. I think some of the stuff's becoming relaxed, also with the time of the year, and I don't see by Christmas time I see it picking right back up, and I think it could be before that very easily. So
you think we'll have an adjustment this fall and winter going into the flu season again, probably?
Yeah. I think it'll just be it's just a little lag. Everybody's kind of settling down for the fall and getting back into their routine of their before the daylights. The darks comes at 5:30 and they got to start being home earlier, and it's just but you're going to see the people that don't have kids or whatever, they're going to start traveling over to different places, to warmer places. So if you have a lot of clients that are high end, or executives or people who actually are retired, they're well off enough, or just they're going to start moving toward warmer climates. So you might get some long-term contracts there.
What is your biggest type of business do you have? Are you more residential estate stuff, or would you say commercial big business type thing? Where have you seen your success?
Well, Miami is per the area. Again, that's why it's so important that if you do start a security company, that you choose an area wisely. Miami is a very large EP, A level, C level, B level, corporate executives, people that come to town, visitors. Here it's a lot of static security, a lot of plants, paper mills. We do a lot of condominiums on the beach. We do a lot of high risk terminations, and we also do EP and escorts for like valuable objects and things. So that's just per the area. Birmingham is more the same, less condos, more industrial. You just got to get outside the box. There's not. We protect nouns versus placing things no matter where they are. So you got to think outside the box of what those things can be. We protect nouns. Look at it that way.
We protect nouns. I never heard it explained that way. That's pretty generic.
That's what we do. So that's if you can think of it, a lot of times people aren't even exploring the things that they could use in security for that could actually improve a situation. And a lot of our customers, they come in, they don't want armed security because here's a new thing. In Alabama, it's like armed security. It's like, these are veterans, military law enforcement veterans. They've been trained. Our United States government, cities and counties have trained these men and women, and it brings a different facet. And every customer we have to sell them on look. Just try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, you can go back to what you had, and no harm, no foul. And they love it. They end up loving it, and they don't want to see anything away, because things that happen to an unarmed security person does not happen to an armed security person. It's not about the weapon or anything like that. It's just simply when's the last time you talked to a police officer, notice what kind of gun he's carrying? Right. My grandma said if they get to your shoes, you've lost their attention. So do adult conversation, but you do, if you do present yourself in a professional format, you just get a better result. And that's where I think a lot of our static security does well. The EP side, we have lots of professionals. I mean, we teach customer service, and we teach that your best foot forward. Your clients do not want to hear your problems, and they don't want to take pictures with you. They don't want to. you got to be professional. That's what some of the guys we get bad raps because of others not thinking ahead and like talking about their clients. You put your client at risk when you talk about your client. Our ads are simply Severance was here, months after we put out a deal, and it's a picture. And if you know what that picture is, you've done good. You've been at that person's pool, or you've seen their jet, or along with the other million that look just like it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's hard. That's something that's the last thing I guess that people don't do and don't think about. We work in a world of it's not secret, just clandestine world. We work in a world where most of our people that we protect, that if we do like an individual close quarters protection, they don't want people to know they got a security guard with them. They want them to look like part of the group, or they want them to fall 15 feet away. They just want to be shadowed. They just want, if there is an issue, they just want somebody present. So they don't want people to think that they have security. So you couple that with not being able to advertise who you protect, and then you couple that with not being able to actually show all the things that you can do or do currently do. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to advertise for a company when you really don't see all that they do. So
that's a good explanation of it.
It's so hard. That's the last part of the marketing part. You think, well, I can market. I've done marketing for. Well, all right. Tell me to market for a coat without letting somebody try.
True.
I mean, it's the hardest thing in the world to do. So it's not just the marketing; it's the trickiness of the marketing. It's the very first your very first responsibility is your client and their safety and their welfare and their privacy. And you don't get to talk about the things you do or who you protect. And Severance now protects some of the world's most influential people. But how do you advertise that and keep them safe? You don't advertise it. So you just have to keep building that rapport and keep doing the right things and keep plugging away. That's have faith that's going to work out. What's in the way is the way.
But the secret recipe to success there is your reputation becomes your branding.
That's right.
And people understand you do such a good job, they don't expose your client. And those executive assistants in those circles start talking, and the lawyers start talking. They go, "Oh, who was that company we worked with? Oh, that was Severance. Call those guys because they didn't blast your photo all over TMZ like those other bonehead security companies that were down in Miami."
That's right. That's why Jay and them, that's what I said. That's when Jay and them came to the table, and Jay and Erica came, it was like, okay, here we go. We got Doc Johnson, he runs West Palm. We just, again, just bless the right people, the right places, the right time. Jay just had moved from New York. It's just, you cannot survive by advertising who you protect. You cannot survive. That's what I love. What is it? What was the thing? The hashtag EP My Life.
Hashtag My Life.
Yeah.
Gerard.
Yeah. Gerard doing
funny.
EP My Life. I love watching. I go on Facebook just to check and see if he's done a green screen cut and paste or something with EP My Life.
He's always got something on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's always floating in a yacht or something. He's on the set with a yacht or something. EP Mode Life or whatever.
EP My Life. What was the one he done in black and white? It was like he was protecting Kenny or something. It looked just like he was in there. I'm like, wow, they did that better. They did better than that. That's pretty good. That's anyway.
That's pretty slick.
You got really good at that. We need to figure out how to capitalize on that and hire vets to do that for them. So
there you go.
Anyway,
let's tell the audience too before we cut this off. You have a unique background besides IT. I remember when I met you with Chad, Comby introduced us when I was down and trying to find somebody. And he said that you were law enforcement at one time.
Nope, not law enforcement. I've never been law enforcement or military. I was I started off as a young kid skeet shooting. My mom took me to skeet range one day.
Okay.
And I'd done very well. And then I went and I became a civilian shooter in Fort Benning, Georgia. My mom, I won a state shoot or something like that. They took me to Fort Benning, and that's where I started shooting with the United States Army Marksmanship Unit.
Okay.
And went from there and went to college, graduated with a computer degree, and I started looking at how do I use these together? And then I was hired by a company in the private sector to help out and do those things. And so I got to live my world with no Facebook and stuff for 10 years and working the private sector, supporting the government.